What is the problem with those additives and those preservatives and the shit stuff when it comes to the keto lifestyle?
Basically what you said a few minutes ago, they're not natural.
Right.
They are toxins to the body, they're chemicals. And they're all the things that can do a whole range of different damages to the body. They might destroy your gut lining, so they might attack your gut. They might destroy the bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut.
Yep.
They might cause you allergies. So, there could be an artificial sweetener that you're allergic to, but it's a minute quantity and you don't know about it. You're just adding bulking agents, you're adding artificial fillers. All those things, they're not things that the body can use and absorb or take any benefit from whatsoever. They're simply either going to go through the body or cause damage on the way.
Yeah. You know what makes me angry?
There are a lot of things that make you angry, Mike.
There is, but I get really pissed off because I do a lot of chats on our Facebook groups. There are a lot of people out there in Facebook groups, so welcome to those people who are tuning in. I get a lot of, I read a lot of the keto blogs and the keto groups, and so many people desperately seek a keto snack, something from their old world that's keto friendly, and they're desperately trying to find an alternative to chips, alternative to cheese, or alternative to chocolate, something that they used to love in their old world. Their keto snacks, it's got to be keto friendly, but they want it almost identical to what they had in their old world. And there's this huge new market of keto snacks, and it just pisses me off, A, that people look for it, and B, that the industry has evolved to create this billion-dollar industry where they're trying to rip off the pure keto advocates.
So I'm curious, Mike. So
don't be curious.
Just think about
be
those.
Angry.
No, I'm not. I'm not angry. I'm not angry at people. Just think about the people who are wanting those alternatives, because it's very hard for them starting the keto diet.
It is.
They're changing their way of eating. They are trying to understand a new lifestyle. They're eating foods that they've never eaten before. Many people I come across, they actually don't know how to cook and prepare foods. They're so used to buying processed food. Everything comes out of a jar, a can, a packet, a junk food chain. So, thinking about those people, why are you? What makes you angry about it?
I guess there's two things that make me angry. First of all, I believe, and because I have huge amounts of empathy but no sympathy, I believe that if a person makes a decision to transform from non-keto to keto, par and parcel with that decision is letting go of some of the things that may have been in a non-keto lifestyle. And if you are making a commitment, and sometimes I may be a little bit blunt, who knew? If you are making a commitment to a keto lifestyle, then you're also making a commitment to not trying to water down that keto lifestyle and almost manipulate, cheat, find a better way to have a keto lifestyle, but still retain some of the things that you still would like from a previous life.
I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to
challenge
you
away
on this one because
I don't get it.
I know you don't, but I am going to challenge you because a lot of people, they are coming into this and they really want it to work, but they're on a learning journey, and it's an evolution. It's not a revolution.
Oh, okay. I agree with that.
Yes. So there are people like you who can just go, bam, I'm going keto, and stop overnight.
Yes.
Right?
Cold turkey.
And go cold turkey and everything, and that's good for you.
Yes.
But that's not everybody's cup of tea. They need to step into it. They need to understand it. They need to work out what they can and can't do, and they need to get ideas. So I'm going to give you an example. I met somebody a couple of days ago, and she said, I just don't know where to start. I don't know what foods I can have and what foods I can't have. But when she goes to the supermarket, she finds things that are labelled keto.
Yes, and that's my second angry.
Now, you can come back to that in a minute.
Angry!
You're allowed angry at that. You're not allowed angry at the people, because I believe that people need to find ways to hold on to their old life initially. Because as they start to transition in and feel the benefits, they won't any longer need the snacks, and they won't any longer need the to eat 24/7. They won't any longer need the ice cream or the chocolate or the cake. So they won't seek the cake that's from their old life, because they'll have lots of beautiful keto food. But when they start, they don't know that. And also there's a fear in people's minds of, I'm giving up all my pleasures. So at least if you can have a keto dessert, well, what's wrong with that? As long as it is keto and it's good food and it's whole food.
I think that's my anger. Is I'm so angry. No, I think that's part of my frustration is that people, and I do understand people do need to learn and educate and understand, but people are being targeted with misinformation around what is a keto-friendly sweet treat snack dessert, because companies have seen there's a market there where people are desperately trying to find a keto alternative, and they're providing that solution, and people are getting confused by it.
Now you can
found my anger.
Now you can get angry.
Now I'm angry.
So people, we are not angry at you.
We're not. We're angry at people who take advantage of you because you're in a dark place.
That's it. So let's just break that down. We're definitely not angry at people, and we do actually understand it is hard going on to keto.
Yes.
When we're talking about a whole foods lifestyle with these beautiful grass-fed organic meats that you may never have prepared before, with no snacking, with intermittent fasting, it's a mindfuck for a lot of people.
And it's even harder when you've got people who are telling you can have this, it's keto friendly, and clearly it's not. You read the ingredients and it's full of shit and crap that is going to be non-keto.
That's it.
But you're getting all the wrong information. So that's what people are angry at.
So hang on. So keep going with what you're doing. Don't be put off by Mike's anger there. However, there is a really valid point here, and this is the industry, the industry that is food.
Yes.
Right? And we laugh but it is an industry.
And because I'm sure that so many people are going on to keto, there's a huge undercurrent of people now who are coming out of the darkened corners and saying, look, my name is Mike and I am keto. Whereas 5 years ago, that was a bit of a taboo thing to talk about and got lots of ridicule. Now people are understanding the benefit of keto, and there is a groundswell of people who are saying I'm on keto. That's impacting their...
So think about what's happening now. So you're the big food companies,
yes,
and we won't name them.
No, we'll point at them.
But we know who they are. So they're all the companies that make significant profits out of shit food.
Yes.
They basically manufacture processed food from shit ingredients. It's very cheap. You're tempted to buy it because it's full of all those, crazy carbs and sugars.
Make your brain come alive, pleasure centre.
That's it. But they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars from you. Now, it's not only the Western and developed countries, it's also some of those third world countries that these companies have moved into because they've seen a growing market, and they're pushing out their shit snack foods into those countries where, quite frankly, people don't know any better. So, we're talking about $1 billion industry here. Now, what's happening is, as you've just said, we've got a groundswell at the moment where everybody is starting to realise this high carbohydrate, low fat diet isn't working. It's causing massive obesity epidemics. It's causing disease. It's costing the healthcare systems billions of dollars every year.
Yes.
And we've got to do something about it. And as you said, everybody and anybody, from putting their kids on it, to doing it themselves, to the grandparents, every demographic, every cultural background, every
country,
ethnicity, and every country.
We have listeners in
we have 33 countries in the world at this point where we've got people listening.
Yeah, so it's a groundswell.
It is.
And that impacts the big companies.
It does. So the big companies right now are saying, whoa, hang on a second, this is getting serious. We see GPs, medical professionals, people that were adamant keto wasn't right, keto wasn't safe, keto wasn't sustainable. Those people are all starting to get quite interested in the benefits, and so we're seeing medical professionals, we're seeing the heart associations, the National Institutes of Health all starting to get onto this. And so with that groundswell, you're absolutely right that those big food companies are seeing their profits being eroded. They're seeing their market being eroded. So let me ask you this, Mike. If you're one of those big food companies, you're the CEO, and you're looking at your strategy.
My strategy is to fight it. Well, they've tried to fight it, and that's not working. They've tried to debunk keto and push it back and make it into a fad, and it's clearly not been effective. So then I would do exactly what they're doing, unfortunately, with my commercial head on. I would try and capitalise on the the groundswell of people who are looking for keto convenience foods.
Exactly right. So you're exactly right that they've tried to push back on this for many years. They've been the people out there sponsoring the research, funding the studies that say keto is bad. Behind every research project is a big food or a big pharma company. So these guys have really tried to kill this whole movement that is ancestral health and especially keto. But now, all of those CEOs have done exactly what you've said with their commercial hats on. They've looked forward and they've said, right, we better get into this keto game, because if we're not in the keto game, we risk losing our market share, we'll lose out to the competitors. So they've all jumped on, and exactly as you said, they've produced the keto convenience foods to replace the non-keto foods.
And sorry, are they all bad? Or I see a lot of keto convenience foods that are just branded beautifully and sold eloquently as fitting in with the keto diet, but when you flip the container over and look at the back, they're still full of shit. And my gut tells me and being a keto cook and cooking a lot of keto food, I would find it difficult to prepare keto snacks that I could keep for more than a few hours. So I would find it difficult to think of a pure keto snack that could survive as a snack on the shelf without a bunch of preservatives and shit that goes in it. So therefore, it's almost like they're fighting a losing battle to get pure keto convenience foods because you'd have to have all the additives to make them saleable.
And I think, if you look at what you've got to put in, so anything that comes in a packet,
Yes.
it's probably got a 90% chance of having some nasties in it.
Nasties or what?
Well, yeah, let me come back to that. You may get 10%, which are the organic, the ethical companies, the sustainable companies, the bio.
Yep.
So you will find in your health food stores, you will find a limited range of food that is still pure. It is keto, it has healthy ingredients, and it's not going to derail you.
Okay.
But they'll also be incredibly expensive because they typically are small manufacturers.
Yep.
They're limited production. So if you really are looking for a keto snack and you do need something processed, in a packet to take on your travels, have a look at the health food store, but interrogate the food labels carefully. Which is a nice segue to what you asked, which is what's inside. Well, the first one that you've mentioned is preservatives. There are natural preservatives. So you can get, if you go into the health food store, you might find those foods are naturally preserved.
So a preservative is just a chemical or a product that stops the food going off. Is that correct?
It stops it going off. So
Okay, cool.
Salt is a preservative.
Right.
Sugar is a preservative.
Embalming fluid is a preservative.
Embalming fluid is a preservative. Hopefully not too much of that in the...
Mummification is a preservative.
But, so is drying food. Dehydrating food is a preservative. But blasting it with sulfur dioxide is also a preservative.
Okay, and it's cheaper and probably... Yep.
There are chemical additives, so there are natural ways to preserve food. So again, think back 200 years when we didn't have refrigerators. What did your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents do to preserve food? They kept it cold, they put it in salt,
Yes.
they put wax and rinds around it if it was cheeses. They dried it.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are natural ways to preserve food. So if you've got naturally preserved food, I'll try and give an example at each point. A naturally preserved food could be something like beef jerky.
Okay.
Right, beef jerky you can make at home. So if you do need a snack for the road, this is a brilliant
Great keto snack.
protein
Perfect.
rich
Number one.
keto snack. So number one, all you do, thinly slice beef, flank or skirt steak is the ideal. Very, very thinly sliced. You want to then marinate it in something acidic like perhaps apple cider vinegar and salt. You're going to do that for maybe 24 hours. Then you're going to dry it off. You might add some flavourings, a bit of chilli, you might add some pepper to it,
Right.
lemongrass, any keto-friendly seasoning, coriander, any kind of spice. And then you're going to dehydrate it. So you can do that in an oven on an incredibly low setting, or even better if you've got a dehydrator, 24 hours in your dehydrator, and you've got yourself some jerky.
Beautiful.
So there you've got some very natural ingredients. But if you go to the supermarket and you buy jerky, what you'll have is a bunch of preservatives and additives in the jerky. So that leads me on to the next one, additives. Those additives can be anything from monosodium glutamate to sugar to refined table salt to any kind of chemical additive that makes things flow better. So if it's a powder, it might have had a flowing agent added to it, which literally makes it flow out of the container easier. It could have had an anti-caking agent added to it. So salt often has anti-caking agents, so it doesn't clump up.
Yes.
And the list goes on. There are all sorts of.
I presume if I'm a large food manufacturer, and I still do make chips and shit food, then I've got all these preservatives and all these in place because I'm very used to the additives and the preservatives for the snack food I'm currently preparing. So if I turn my attention to keto, I'm not going to look for a natural preservative or a natural additive. I'm just going to run it through the same process.
And nobody says on the keto diet or lifestyle that you have to have natural.
No.
We generally say try and eat whole foods. But if I take, let's say, a beef jerky, we use the beef jerky example. I pull a beef jerky off the shelf and it's got a preservative and it's got some additives and it's got some colourings in it to make it look nice. So a lot of these things are about how it looks.
Of course, pretty.
It's got the artificial flavourings added to it. So it's got all those additives. Now, if I look at the back of the packet and I'm looking only at the macros, it's going to have protein in it. It'll have very few carbohydrates because they may have added an artificial sweetener to it.
Yes.
But not any significant amount of carbs. It is a protein-based food. It's still meat. It may have been shit meat, and it may not have been good quality grass-fed. So your macros are going to be fine because you'll show basically protein and maybe a few percent of carbohydrates and maybe a gram or two, and that's all you're going to have in there. So if you're only looking at your macros, you pull that off the shelf and say, well, that fits my macro count. It's protein.
So those people tuning in who are going, well then, so what? I've chosen a keto snack off the supermarket shelf. It does fit with my macros. It doesn't have any other additives that are going to take me out of my macros. What is the problem with those additives and those preservatives and the shit stuff when it comes to the keto lifestyle?
Basically what you said a few minutes ago, they're not natural.
Right.
They are toxins to the body, they're chemicals. And they're all the things that can do a whole range of different damages to the body. They might destroy your gut lining, so they might attack your gut. They might destroy the bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut. They might cause you allergies. So, there could be an artificial sweetener that you're allergic to, but it's a minute quantity and you don't know about it. You're just adding bulking agents, you're adding artificial fillers, all those things. They're not things that the body can use and absorb or take any benefit from whatsoever. They're simply either going to go through the body or cause damage on the way.
Yeah. So keto is a natural way of eating, it's a healthy way of eating, and we're choosing a snack food that's going dead against everything we're trying to achieve by choosing great foods and a great way of eating. So it's totally...
And in its most extreme, I mean, some of these additives can actually derail your progress. So whether it's an artificial sweetener that means that your palate still craves sweet foods, or whether it's an additive that actually damages your body, it could, if it's something that you're intolerant to, for example, then it could actually stop you losing weight if that's why you're doing keto.
Okay, wow.
So it really can derail your efforts in a very big way if you're taking in lots of those artificial additives.
All right, so my anger has subsided because now I understand why the big companies are doing it, because they're losing profits and they've seen the keto market as rich pickings. It's not people who are tuning in who are making the poor decisions. It's because the amount of marketing now behind keto snacks. When we consume keto snacks, even though they fit into the macros and technically they fit into the keto diet or lifestyle, there's still a bunch of shit in them that's going against everything we're trying to achieve. So then what are the alternatives? Because I'm a keto cook and I make everything, but I'm still struggling to what sort of things could I have as a snack, or should I be having snacks? Let's
start off with keto-friendly snacks. So, come on, Mike, you eat keto.
I would do a bunch of nuts 3 ways.
That's really it's hard.
So I do a bunch of, nuts and cheeses and the dried meats.
Yeah.
So your chorizos or your what did you just say?
Jerky.
Jerky, that's the word I was looking for. So those are people my go-tos. There's a whole bunch of different dried meats that I could select in there. There's a variety of nuts, variety of cheeses.
Let me just jump in to add a touch of value on that. Remember what you can do with your nuts is you can make your own pre-packaged snack packs.
Absolutely.
So you can make up the right quantity,
yes.
With the right macros.
Yep.
Just weigh it out, pop it into, those little, you get the nice paper, sustainable bags now, pop them into your paper bags. And it's just like having a snack from the supermarket.
And it's the right quantity,
and
right
it's
size.
cheaper.
Yep.
It's the right quantity, it's the right size. You haven't got the additives. If you like a bit of flavour in your nuts, you can put salt and pepper in them.
Yep.
Make yourself salt and pepper nuts. Same with your meats.
Yep.
You can make your own dehydrated meats or buy clean meats from your health food store or perhaps from a farmer's market. You might get your jerkies and your prosciuttos and your parma hams and those sort of things.
So you can make up some really nice little snack packs if you are having snacks. As a way of, and it feels good. It does feel good if you are reaching for a snack and you've gone to the effort of preparing a snack. Even though you're satisfying a desire for a snack, when you finish it, you don't feel like you've blown your diet or done anything damaging to your body. So there's a feel-good factor, and it's all weighed out and measured out, so it's the right amount. You're not going to reach into jars of nuts and cheese and try to sort of mix it up on the day.
Yeah, so you've got the nuts and the meat are great examples. You can also take things like, as you said, cheeses.
Yes.
Cheeses are a great alternative. All you've got to do is chop them up.
Yep.
I would avoid the processed cheese. Go to the deli counter.
Get the good stuff.
Get the good stuff, the good quality. You won't need as much because it's so tasty. Also things like olives. Olives are a great snack.
I love the olives.
They're amazing in their profile. They're mainly fats, a touch of carbohydrate but not a lot. So they're a really great alternative. And then, think a little bit laterally. Boiled eggs. Boiled eggs are a great snack. And bacon, you can fry up bacon, and again, you can pre-package bacon to take on the road with you.
Avocado.
There are lots of that's right. Avocado is an amazing snack.
So it's all the traditional keto foods that we have in our main keto meals, of being a little bit creative and creating a bit of a snack pack.
Yeah.
Using those in a different format.
And we know that, for example, there's a couple of really good examples here that you might enjoy if you're new to keto. There are some biscuits that can be made with, for example, fathead dough. And for the recipe, check out other resources. Fathead dough, you can cook up some biscuits, bread type of mixtures and take those with you.
Yes.
You can make little mini pizzas with those. So you can take those pre-prepared in a snack box for your snacks. And then, as well as those, you can make fat bombs.
Of course.
So fat bombs made with, for example, coconut oil, coconut and coconut milk. Or maybe butter, almond butter, and maybe a touch of cacao. You can make some delicious fat bombs, pop them in the freezer, they're out of sight, but take a few of those with you in a cool bag, and you've got a nice, healthy, fatty snack. So
there really is a lot,
if
you think through what you can have on the keto diet, a lot of the foods we prepare anyway, there is a bunch of different alternatives when it comes to creating some snacks. It does involve being prepared.
It does.
It does involve preparation in advance and having them ready so that whether you're going to work or whether you're travelling or whatever you're doing that you may need a snack, you've got it available, it's the right amount, it is good quality keto foods, and then you're not going to blow your diet or fill your body with shit, or be in that situation where you've got nothing and you're going to the convenience store and you're grabbing something off the shelf that says keto, and it's really just keto chemicals.
Exactly. So don't fuel the industry.
No.
Don't spend all your money on
protest.
What are essentially very, very expensive packaged foods. You can do this easily, you can do it at home, and a lot cheaper. So remember, people say keto's expensive, it's not. People say keto snacks are difficult, they're not. And let's push back and challenge these big companies that are making significant profits from an industry that really shouldn't exist.
Exactly. Now I see you twitching every time I say the word snack, because I know I'm used to hanging out with you, and I know that the word snack and keto doesn't sit with you as well as for some people, because you're a firm believer that when you're fully transitioned to keto, snacks aren't something that sort of we consider as part of our day.
Well, it's and again,
Am I paraphrasing?
You are a bit, because think about the people who struggle with keto, with the transition. It's not that It's not that I demonise snacks.
No.
It's not that I say there's no place for snacks. There is a place for snacks. But ideally, once you've transitioned, once you've got through your first 90 days and you're fat adapted, your body is running on the fat that you've given it, which will be plenty, and it's running on its own body fat. And what you find is that you don't actually need to snack. You don't need food in between your main meals. And once you've broken the habit of eating 20 times a day, as the average American does,
Yes.
You actually find you can go very easily between meals because you're no longer used to putting food into your mouth. So the healthiest, in my opinion, it's personal opinion, is to have 2 main meals a day, perhaps a bulletproof coffee in the morning, and give your digestive system a rest in between, because it's going to thank you for it. It's going to heal, it's going to recover, it's going to repair itself, it's going to feel good.
Yes.
But if you do need the occasional snack, then I've mentioned a few that are really healthy.
Yep.
But yeah, my opinion is don't snack, just fast, because that's the best option for you. You don't need the calories, and it's simply a habit that you've developed over the years.
And if you are tuning in, we do understand that where you may be sitting at the moment, you're not going to understand how it feels not to want to snack. Because like you and like us before we transitioned to keto, we were brought up in a society where you do eat regular meals and regular snacks. You'd have breakfast, mid-morning and morning tea, you'd have lunch and mid-afternoon tea, you'd have dinner, then something after dinner, and possibly some snacks in between. So we've all sort of, in a lot of ways, come from a snacking background, and it's very difficult to see a lifestyle where snacks aren't a big part of it. But when you transition, it becomes very obvious how you don't need snacks.
And you've been told for years, eat frequently, keep your metabolism high, keep your body fueled. And for many people out there, especially diabetics, when they don't eat, their blood sugar crashes. So people are used to that feeling of hungry, feeling of hangriness,
And respond to it.
and they respond to it.
Yes.
When you've been on keto for long enough, you no longer get that same feeling, and you can go for much longer without snacks. But in the beginning, when you're transitioning, take snacks with you so you don't get caught out. As you get further down the track, then just try going longer and longer without a snack, because you might surprise yourself.
Yes, excellent. So I'm no longer angry. Well, I'm no longer angry, but now I know where my anger is directed at.
That's it.
And I think we fight to the big companies, and we get our own healthy keto snacks, and over time we transition to not needing snacks as much as we do.
Back to whole foods, back to real foods, and push back on those frankenfoods.
Excellent.